Hi, it's Michaela from Compass. It is Friday, so it is Tell Me Something I Don't Know. I'm here with Sarah from Chat Noir Tarot in East Greenwich. She is my tarot reader, so there's something you didn't know. I love tarot. And we are going to play Tell Me Something I Don't Know. 3 questions. I don't know what she's going to ask me. I'm a little nervous. She doesn't know what I'm going to ask her. And let's go. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Are we going to do like one and then the other? Or
Yeah.
you want to do, okay.
Yep.
All right. So I wrote my questions down. When she said this, I said, I got to write it down. Okay. My first question,
Okay.
What is your most rewarding story about connecting people with their dream homes?
Oh, okay. So I would say it's probably a tie between all of my first-time home buyers, but my very, very first sale ever. Her name is Laura. She was a single mom. She had just gotten divorced. She had this adorable little baby, and she was sitting in her apartment. It was like a little tiny apartment, and she texted me kind of out of the blue. We knew each other from like way back when, and we just kind of got the wheels in motion, and it happened very quickly. And she bought this beautiful home. She's still in it. I actually am going to see her next Friday. And she was able to be a single mom, living on her own, providing for her daughter by herself. It was a huge, and every single thing that could go wrong after closing went wrong. It was a flip that was like lipstick on a pig. But she handled it beautifully, and she changed around the house, and she made it her own, and that's probably my favorite story.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great question and a great answer.
Yeah.
So,
Yep,
I mean, that's what you want, especially if you're starting over. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right,
Awesome.
your turn.
Okay.
All right. What came first? The tarot reading or the knowing that you have some sort of psychic power?
So, also a very good question. So when I was little, and I was probably like 3 or 4 years old, I do remember seeing people in my room at night and being afraid. Right, of course. So that was kind of pushed aside as family members, my mom, like, that's not right. It's dream, so you kind of push it aside, right? But there was always a sense of me knowing things that I shouldn't know about people. And I, all through school, through, college and everything else, I would always be like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Or, yeah, did you do this? And people would look at me and like, how do you know that? I'm like, I don't know, I just do. And that was an answer. I just do. And so I picked up tarot at 14 and started to kind of learn about it, but wasn't super into it. So I think the knowing was first. And then tarot came after. I really picked it up when after I had my last child, my son, and then it just kind of blew up. So people were asking me to do parties, and it was probably like a year before I met you.
Mm-hmm.
So then it just blew up, and I didn't even know what to do with it. And now I have my own business, I have my own thing, my own space, I do other things, I teach it, all of that. So I think the knowing was first.
Okay.
Okay? Make sense?
Yeah. All right.
This is fun.
I told you.
Okay, yeah, your turn. Okay. So for those of you who do not know, Michaela is very connected, and she loves tarot. She loves the metaphysical. So this is a question that is kind of like up my alley. Do you find that your connection to the metaphysical or the universe helps you understand truly what your purpose is?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I would say my purpose is not real estate. My purpose is to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been throughout my entire life. When I worked at the hospital, even staying home with my kids, I got really into working with Tri-Town Community Action Agency and their Head Start program. And now real estate and helping people find their homes, their next homes, right sizing, whether that's up or down. That first-time home buyer, it's helping people. One of the things when I started working with my current partner and we were going over financials, I couldn't tell you what our volume was. I couldn't tell you our transaction volume number. I couldn't tell you any of that. And it was probably one of his biggest pet peeves. But I could tell you how many families I helped, and I could tell you how many transactions I did, and I could tell you something very important about every single one of those families or people.
And that's, I feel like, exactly what would make you successful. It's not about the numbers all the time. It's about the heart. Like, this is where we can see you grow. This is where we can see you love.
Exactly. I can walk in, and I used to tell that, and everyone thinks I'm crazy, and I tell them I'm nuts. So We would walk in and I'd be like, you'll know the second your foot hits the floor. You'll get a feeling.
I love that.
And every single person, they've gotten it. They're like, I know this is the house.
Wow.
I was like, you'll just
I
get
just
a feeling.
get goosebumps.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and that's how, when we bought Truman Street in Johnston, the house was disgusting. And when we pulled up, Justin looked at me and he's like, you really want to go into this house? And I was like, no, let's just look. And the second I put my foot in the kitchen, I was like, this is the house. And he looked at me and said, are you crazy? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
We were there for 9 years.
Yeah.
We made a ton of profit on that house. It was fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. But I feel like also the connection of the universe, of truly believing that, again, when you step foot in the house, that it was meant to be yours, like that's where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So that's a great answer to my question. I love it.
All right, great.
All right, I'm ready.
My turn.
Yeah.
All right, what is the collective? When you talk about, if you follow, and I'll put all of her handles on there, you say that you're pulling for the collective. What does that mean?
Okay, so the collective is just kind of like the people who are around who are looking at it, right? So it's the collective of the folks, the energy that surrounds it. Because when I do some of the things that I do, I'm not pulling just for Michaela. I'm not pulling just for Sarah. I'm not just pulling. I'm pulling for the unit of whoever needs it at this time. Okay. Because not everybody corresponds and not everybody resonates what's being said. So you have to kind of throw it out there and be like, this is for whoever needs it. Right. That's what the collective looks like.
So when I say this, is it Wednesdays that you do the
I do them all different times.
Sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes it's Wednesday, but if you follow her page, she'll put cards face down, and you just pick whichever one you get a feeling about, and then later in the week she'll reveal what it is, and she calls it pulling for the collective. Right.
So it's not for one person. It could be for everybody. It could be for nobody. So when we just say the collective, it's kind of for anybody who needs it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's your last question. All right, this is just a general question. I'm not sure if anybody's asked it for you, to you before, but it's, where is your favorite place on earth and why?
My favorite place on earth, and it's not a specific place, but I love being by lakes. Okay. I like being by water. Mm-hmm. So lakes, oceans, specifically lakes. It's very calming to me. It's very, when I'm stressed out and I just need like a minute, we belong to Gloucester Country Club, and I'll go up to Waterman Lake and I will just sit. I'll bring a book, or I'll, the kids will swim in the lake and we'll hang out. Well, that's how we spent our Sundays. That's how I spent Sundays growing up, up at Keach Pond. So for me, it's by water. It doesn't matter where I am, as long as it's water. Okay. Yep. Same with the ocean. I love the ocean. I love the saltwater smell. I love it's just being by water. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Water is a conduit, so it makes sense that you would find your peace there. Just like amplify it. That's exactly what happens. Yep. Okay. I feel all the stress melt away. Yep. Fantastic. All right, your last one. If you weren't doing this full time, what would you be doing? Oh gosh, I can't tell you. And the reason is because I have always been, which is also kind of part of like, I trust what's happening. I trust the universe. I trust however you think about it. Everything's always been has fallen into my lap. So like, I can't tell you what the next avenue would be. It's always been something that I jump in with both feet. It's like, again, having something like this where I didn't start off to have this. I didn't start off to do certain things. Did you just start doing like little parties? Yep, started doing parties, and then I worked for, I worked with a metaphysical shop that is no longer, and I kind of got my bearings there, and then I was on my own. And for the longest time, I didn't have a space, so I was doing it from like, coffee shops, and I met you at a bar. Yes, yes, exactly. You're doing it at a bar. Yeah, I was. So I just kind of go with the flow, and I've always done that. So I've lived in different places. I lived on Block Island. I lived in New York City. Lived in Boston. So it's always been like, here's an opportunity, and I feel like it's the right thing, so I'll take it. So I can't tell you, there isn't one thing that I think that I should be doing other than what I'm doing now. But along the same lines as you, it's always about helping people. Yeah. So it's not about me. It's always about helping people. Again, stay-at-home mom, being involved with different things. Like, you just want to help people. You want people to understand that they're not alone. And that's kind of, so I think, to answer you, I think that I would be helping somebody or helping people within whatever I was going to do. Yep. So I'm just happy to be able to do it this way. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Can I ask a bonus question?
Yeah.
Will you pull a card for the collective?
Yes, I will. Woo! Hold, please. She knew I would. It's under my table. It's under my table. So I'm going to shuffle. Actually, I'm going to have you pick it.
Okay.
All right? So we're going to do this together. All right. So I'm going to do a nice little shuffle, and I'm going to go like this, and you go right in there. Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. It's great. It's a great card. Okay. So do you want to explain it?
Nope, you can do it.
All right. Michaela does know, by the way. So this is, for those of you watching, this is coming from the Golden Art Nouveau deck, so that's why it's got a nice little shine. I do like that shine. This is the Hierophant, which is number 5 up there. So the Hierophant has 2 fingers pointed up like this, and 2 fingers kind of, I think he's got keys. Oh, he's got like this scepter thing. But there are keys down at his feet. So what this card is all about is about learning. It's about tradition, right? It's about understanding that even though you're in a certain movement or you're doing something, there is some kind of lesson to be learned. And you see these 2 little guys here, they're monks, right? They don't have any hair on the top of their head. It's like sort of like the universe is also kind of guiding them in a certain way, but it's all about learning. We're always taking in lessons. We're always doing something. Traditions that are different for different people. We look at that and we say, okay, that makes sense. It would make sense within what you're trying to do while accomplishing. See, brain is not connecting to mouth. That's, you know, I'm in it when that happens. But it means that doing something like this where you're asking people questions, you're kind of putting it out there to the collective, whoever needs to hear it, that you're putting out some of this information that would not be heard otherwise or would not be garnered any other way. So are we kooky? Yes, we're kooky, but also we're normal, right? And so to trust that you're aligning somebody with a property or a place that makes sense to them, that's really going to draw their heart in. We're trusting that we're doing that. We're not just doing it to make money, you know? And that's the same thing for me. I'm trusting that I'm giving people information about their lives that are really going to put them in a different perspective so that they can put one foot in front of the other. So,
I will tell you, every single reading I've had from Sarah, it has come true. It's usually about 6 months later, 6 to 9 months. The first time I was like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. 6 months later, I called and I was like, can I come see you again?
So let's talk about that, because I remember now it's been like, what, 5 years perhaps?
Mm-hmm. It was before, I think it was 2019.
Okay.
The first time I saw
Yep.
you.
Okay, so that
like
makes
the beginning
sense.
of 2019.
Yep. So it makes sense. So the first time that I had ever read for Michaela, she was a little bit apprehensive, and she was like, "Okay, well, you know, you're not going to tell me anything that I don't already kind of know. Not in a fresh way at all. Just, you know, okay, this is fun. It's a party. It's whatever." And I said something about the house that she was in. I said, "Your driveway. Something needs to be done about your driveway. I'm seeing the driveway needs to be done." And you said, that is not going to happen. We have other projects that we want to accomplish before the driveway's not even in our thought process. And then what happened?
The first project we did when we were changing over the things with the house was the driveway. And it fell into our lap. Justin's dad knew a guy. He came over. He gave us a great price. And the first thing we did was the driveway. And then doing the driveway, then we did all of the other projects one after the other. Right. And then we sold the house.
Right. And so I think that was the gripping moment of like, wow, you actually know. And it's not anything. I didn't know her. I didn't know where the house was. I didn't know what the condition the house was in. It was just something. And then you've been coming ever since.
Yep. And then you told me in 2020 that in 2 years, I was going to sell that house. I was going to move somewhere by water. And I'd be out in the middle of the woods. And at the time, I think you were like, I don't know, maybe like West Greenwich or like somewhere like that. We bought in Situate on the reservoir 2 years later,
right.
In 2022.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Yep. And again, that just kind of fell on my lap.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it wasn't like you had said at that time, we're looking, but I don't know. That's too
You told
far
me my
out
mother was going to move in with me. And I was like, never, never, never going to happen. Not going to happen. At the end of my mother's life, she moved in with us so I could take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
crazy.
It is crazy. You know, we're human beings. We're just trying to help people do what's best for them. It's not based on, an ego thing or anything like that. It's just we're trying to help. Yeah. So you do it in the, to give them the places, their dream homes, right? That's such a cliche thing, but it really is. Your home is your hearth, your You know, it's where you're the happiest. It's part of you, and that's what you're facilitating for people. And I do the same thing. I don't give people their homes, but I give them an attitude or just a little bit of a different kind of perspective of where they need to be so that they can enjoy their lives.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. All right. So now you know something you didn't know. Bye.